Alright, I have now officially left my hobbit hole, and I saw that a few months ago, DRG drops its newest season, Rival Escalation. Seems like the rival boss are getting bolder, and as usual, we gotta put our lives on the line while barely being paid a livable wage. But hey, they gave us some more toys to play with, a new performance pass, and a few quality of life updates, so let's talk about it. During Season 1, we got 4 new primary weapons, and it only makes sense that secondary weapons get the same treatment. R&D has done what they do best, which is slapping random shit together and calling it a gun. Now I'm honestly liking the concept for these guns, and since I'm a filthy gunner and scout main, I only have their new secondaries. But I'll still be giving my thoughts on all of these sick looking guns, so let's get started. So starting with the ArmsKore Coil Gun. I really wanted to like this thing. I mean, when I first saw the thing, I was thinking it was going to be an absolute hand cannon, one-shotting everything but Praetorians and shit, and well, it is. But there's a few things about this gun that messes with me. Here's a quick description of the coil gun. After charging it up, it fires a trail that pierces through enemies and terrain. The trail also persists for a bit and damages anything in it. It fires from a single ammo pool, taking a base 40 ammo per shot. But despite that, the weapon needs to reload, and there's my first problem. I know this thing hits like an absolute truck, but damn, the reload is slow as all hell. Like damn, you can't throw the ball in a little bit faster? I mean, come on bro. On top of this, while I don't mind this charge gimmick, if you hold the charge for too long it overheats. So if you run the overcharger mod, you have an extra window where you can deal a bit extra damage. And that's where the overheating issue becomes way more noticeable. It takes the same amount of time as your reload before you can shoot again. So 10 years at least. Speaking of mods, thank God this gun actually has some solid mods that make it bearable to use. Namely the reload speed perk and even the charge speed perk if you feel like the charge is a little too slow. Faster reload I think is a must in every build for this gun. And as for the other perks, I think the overclocks complement them a lot. For example, the Necrothermal Catalyst mod makes burning enemies explode into gooey bug guts, which is okay if you use Molotovs or lead storm to ignite enemies. But the Hellfire Overclock just does the hard work for you by leaving a trail of flames that ignites bugs. So, by itself, the coil gun is meh. But luckily its mods and overclocks are really solid. I'm still not sure if I'll use this over the revolver or burst pistol since I usually use the gunner secondaries to burst down a single target. And honestly, if you're using this thing for dealing with swarms, might I introduce you to its primary guns? Would have been cool if its range was infinite because it'd be easier to make use of the gimmick. Imagine saving a teammate from a cave leech or a grabber from across the map. I guess the mole overclock exists which increases its range. Would have been cool though. Next is the Scout's Nishanka Boltshark X80. What a badass name. I really feel like a big game underground space hunter. I wonder if these guys are edible. Anyway, the Boltshark is honestly a pretty good secondary when it comes to damage or support. The Boltshark shoots bolts which deal decent damage and stuns fairly often. The cool thing about this weapon though is its special bolts, which by hitting reload switches from basic bolts into the cooler special bolt, which depending on your mod choice can be pheromone, explosive or taser bolts. Special bolts generally deal less damage and have less bolts than the normal ones in exchange for these unique effects. So the pheromone bolt is pretty similar to Scout's pheromone canister, except it hits one enemy at a time. It may seem less ideal for the smaller boys, but for the bigger boys, you can apply the pheromones and now you have a ton of grunts laying into them. You obviously have a lot more bolts and canisters, the only trade-off being is that one is single target and the other is an AoE. You can also use the cryo grenade instead of the canister, so it's even easier to freeze large groups, and it's actually pretty good.
ほう、向かってくるのか。
近づかなきゃてめえをぶちのめせないんでな。
ほうほう。では十分近づくがよい。
The chemical explosion bolt inflicts a poison on its target which, when it dies, blows it up. This one is pretty situational, but good for swarms that stay close or are beating each other up with pheromones. You can hit a grunt with this, kill it, and it will kill most other weaker enemies.
Oh, I missed! Yeah!
It's kinda weird to have to switch to your primary just for a exploder size explosion though. The last special bolt is a taser bolt, and to be honest I have no clue how it worked before, and after messing around with it I realized I'm a complete goof. So taser bolts connect with each other, kinda how those annoying ass electric crystals do. Anything that gets near the bolts or passes through the beams directly take electric damage over time and is slow. The bolt is obviously very good in tunnels and against these tiny pieces of trash, and it applies the electrocution effect on enemies, which is good for the crossbow mod that gives your normal bolts aimbot and electrocuting enemies. What's more is that you can fire these bolts into enemies, meaning they'll take the AoE and beam damage at once. It's actually really good single target DPS. The only real problem with tasers is that you'll be using a lot of these bolts pretty often, which is why you get so many. You might want to get the extra special bolts mod just in case. Besides that though, the Boltshark is a very versatile and hard hitting secondary weapon that will definitely fit pretty comfortably in your builds. At first I was pretty hard on this weapon for the sheer amount of brain power it uses, and by that I mean I can't simply shoot and kill stuff with it, but it's still pretty crazy how much utility and damage it can offer even without overclocks, which mostly alters the normal bolts anyway. As I said earlier, I don't have the NG or driller weapons. I know, I'm a filthy gunner and scout main.
Sue me.
Yo, I'm in the middle of editing and I'm just here to say that, once again, I really am a complete goof. There's a DRG mod called Sandbox Utilities that has all weapons unlocked and the sandbox room, so I can commit several war crimes at my leisure. How I miss this is beyond me. This vid would have been out way sooner if I knew about it. Point is, since I can use the weapons myself, I can go a little more in depth with them. So that's always good. Anyways, here are my completely fair and unbiased opinions of these weapons. Here we go. So first, the NG's Shard Diffractor, and let's be real, you don't have to be using this thing to see how cracked, how absolutely mental this thing is. From what I've seen, it shreds. So the Shard Diffractor is a Hearthstone powered laser cannon that incinerates any poor bug caught in the beam. It runs on a battery system, which if you let go of the trigger, automatically reloads from the reserve ammo, and it needs to be reloaded completely before you can fire it again. It takes some getting used to, since I use it like a minigun, spraying and bunny hopping all over the place. It's a pretty boots on the ground weapon. It also has a brief spin up, and the beam itself has slight AoE and increases the temperature of enemies so you can light them on fire. And what I found to be craziest about this gun is that it has completely infinite range. What a loaded weapon. Okay, good single target DPS, good accuracy at range, and having to recharge it after shooting it for a while. Call me crazy, but as far as I can see, there are a lot of similarities between this and the Lead Storm, at least on paper without mods or overclocks, you know? I would go as far to say that this will kill the gunner's specialty! I'm joking, I'm kidding. It's actually pretty nice, since the other two weapons are more about crowd control and burst, but the Shard Diffractor is about that sweet sustained DPS that only the SMG really has. Not to mention lasering through a horde of grunts is pretty satisfying. If you do still want some burst potential out of this thing, the Overdrive Booster Overclock doubles your damage while also taking twice the ammo and rooting you in place, kinda like the Lead Storm Overclock. The Shard Diffractor is a pretty unique gun, and I'm kinda surprised that they didn't add any laser beam weapons sooner. It's a beast. On to the final new weapon. We have the Driller's Colette Wave Cooker. Take a microwave and put a gun barrel on it. That's this war crime right here. So this gun constantly radiates energy that fries anything in its crosshair from the inside out. It shoots from a single ammo pool like the plasma charger or minigun, and it also has infinite range. From what I've seen, this gun is amazing for killing weaker enemies like swarmers or NATO sites, and because of its kill effect, exploders won't explode when killing them with this thing, so that's always good news. Look at them pop though. Weirdly satisfying. Like the other driller secondaries, this weapon is good at killing enemies that would be out of reach of your primaries like Macteras, but that doesn't change the fact that, compared to the other two weapons, single target DPS with this gun is booty cheese. I mean complete doo-doo water. You're better off ripping a long wet fart onto a Praetorian, I'm just saying. So it's clear that it's a crowd control tool. That's cool, but I guess the only thing I've wondered the entire time I've been talking about this weapon is, doesn't the Driller's primary serve the same purpose? I mean, you have sticky flames, freezes, and another war crime at your disposal, and they all do one thing, and that's crowd control. But then again, Ice Spear and Sludge Bomb exist, so you know what? That's just the beauty of this game. I found that this gun synergizes really well with the Flamethrower Cryo Cannon using the mod that makes frozen or burning bugs spread their effects to other bugs near them when microwaving them. And it does actually make for some pretty good single target damage. When it comes to overclocks though, none really stand out to me besides Gamma Contamination, which can really up your area damage alongside the other synergy I mentioned. The Wave Cooker is a perfect war crime that, while not amazing on its own, works together with his own kit better than the other dwarves. It's not much competition though, Driller was made for CC and he's great at it. Now let's take a look at the Deep Dark. It's not looking good guys. The bots have grown even more aggressive and even deployed a bot designed for clapping some angry dwarven cheeks.
Help! It took me!
What the hell was that sentence? The new rival presence warning means that bots will be jam-packed in your caves. You will get shot at a lot, so make sure to pack your fire and your pickaxes. To gather more info about hoxes, Rival Tech also deployed a communications router, which after disabling it, you need to find a blinking antenna, and then you'll need to do a minigame to disable that too, and then you'll have to scramble to find the next antenna after that, and repeat before the time runs out. I absolutely hate this event, because you have a limited amount of time to disable it, and 1. I just can't take the stress, 2. You do this while getting swarmed, which is even worse if you're solo, and 3. Combining the last 2 reasons and the fact that this is a ticking time bomb, I personally mess up way more than I should. And of course, completing this gives you a data cell, so pretty nice.
Hey, yo, the pizza here.
My beard burns. Lurking in the deep dark is a familiar voice but not so familiar face. The Nemesis, programmed to hunt down and again clap your dwarven cheeks. Now the Nemesis has a small chance to spawn in missions, and you'll know it's around when you hear distorted voice lines of your fellow dwarves. Creepy. It can break through the terrain, emit huge barriers that block your shots, and a signature grab that is almost impossible to escape unless you kill it or you collide with terrain. To be honest, the Nemesis isn't that hard of a fight. The grab can be annoying and will probably kill you if it connects, but if you hide behind something you'll be fine. Or throw a lure and it won't know the difference. Dumbass. I wish after killing this thing you got a reward out of it, like a data cell, I don't know. All you get for killing him right now is his parting gift, which is getting bombed to hell. Still, the Nemesis is a really cool and weirdly terrifying mini-boss I have ever had the misfortune of fighting. Makes you think where the Nemesis got its lure voice lines from. Because it definitely did not AI generate them or anything. These are actual sampled lines from actual dwarves. The only likely story is that the Nemesis sampled these lines by luring and killing more dwarves.
Let me go!
Tell me it ain't so. Now let's wrap the video up with some cosmetic and quality of life changes. Of course, with the new season there's a new performance pass. It works just the same, but by popular request, the season event bonuses were doubled, meaning more script, meaning more cosmetics for everyone. I'm still not used to developers making it easier to get cosmetics without a catch. Kinda makes me want to throw money at them, but I'm broke. Anyway, the featured weapon skin framework is the builder's choice, which basically makes your guns rounder and thicker. Damn, boy! It actually looks pretty good on the Leadstorm and Bulldog, and yes, I am 100% biased. I don't know, I really just like how big it makes my gun look, cause after all, how else am I gonna compensate for my tiny pocket gun? And this is a huge quality of life addition for those who need to save gold to upgrade weapons. Medical gowns, you already know. Phazyonite is a new purple mineral that can be found every so often in caves. Instead of using a fat stack of precious credits and minerals to buy that cowboy hat you always wanted, now Phazyonite's got your back. The best part is besides caves you can get Phazyonite from simply buying stuff, which is literally the point of Phazyonite. Who thought of this? I love you. But nah, Phazyonite is what we needed but definitely didn't deserve. And now I won't feel like complete shit for buying cosmetics. Thanks. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. I was pretty busy these last few months and I was just recently able to get back to editing. But I hope that this late update review at least provided some entertainment to you. But believe me, next time, I'll be on time. I have a few topics for videos I'd really like to make, but in the meantime, I want to do more DRG content, maybe with mods or getting more overclocks. Matrix core hunt, I guess. But yeah, this is the end of the vid. Thanks for watching, see you later.